Andy Gibb was one of the most successful pop stars of the late 1970s, topping the charts with his first 3 singles and captivating fans worldwide. But behind the fame and fortune lay personal demons the young singer battled in isolation. By 1988, he was attempting a comeback until he suddenly passed away at age 30. Join Factsverse as we explore Andy Gibb's turbulent career and unravel the circumstances surrounding his untimely death. Andy's rise to fame. Andy Gibb was born in 1958 in Manchester, England, to parents Barbara and Hugh Gibb. Like his older 3 brothers, Barry, Robin, and Morris, Andy showed an early interest in music from a young age. The Gibb family eventually relocated to Australia in the late 60s, where the 3 older sons found success forming their vocal group, the Bee Gees. By the time Andy was 9, the Bee Gees had already scored several hit singles in Australia. It was clear music was in Andy's blood. Living in the shadow of his hugely talented siblings, Andy was determined to follow in their footsteps. He began learning guitar and spending hours practicing his singing. Though the youngest, he had an innate musical talent and an ear for melody. In his early teens, he left school and focused fully on performing and honing his craft. He joined local bands around Australia and quickly learned the ropes of live performing. Eager to establish himself on his own, Andy left for the UK in the mid-70s. He formed a band called Melody Fair, and they played along the coast of Ibiza, catering to tourists. Here, Andy refined his stage presence and developed confidence in his ability. Word of Andy's talent reached Bee Gees manager Robert Stigwood in 1976. Stigwood was impressed with Andy's demo recordings and signed him to his RSO label. With the help of oldest brother Barry, Andy began working on his debut album, Flowing Rivers, in Miami. Released in 1977, the album was a commercial success driven by Andy's good looks and boyish charms. His debut single, I Just Wanna Be Your Everything, rocketed to #1 on the Billboard charts. Building on this momentum, Andy's 1978 album, Shadow Dancing, was an even bigger success. The title track spent 7 weeks at #1 on the singles chart. At just 19 years old, Andy Gibb had topped the American charts with each of his first 3 singles, a feat that has yet to be matched today. With his ticket officially punched, Andy was flying high as a solo pop superstar. Struggles with fame and addiction. As Andy's stardom rapidly skyrocketed, he quickly found himself struggling under the intense pressures and non-stop lifestyle that came with fame and celebrity. Constantly in the public eye and surrounded by adoring fans, Andy was a teenager thrust into adulthood virtually overnight. Behind closed doors, Andy battled severe insecurity and doubts about living up to his brother's extraordinary success in the music industry. The relentless pace and inevitable temptations of 1970s Miami also began taking their toll. Recreational drug use, particularly cocaine, was rampant amongst musicians at the time. Still grappling with his newfound fame and fortune, Andy increasingly turned to cocaine as an escape. What started casually became a constant presence in Andy's world that offered temporary relief from his personal demons. As Andy's drug involvement grew, so too did its consequences. His volatile marriage to wife Kim Reeder ended in 1978 after only 2 years, with reports of cocaine creating paranoia and depression in Andy. He became more unreliable in his professional obligations as well. Though scoring further hits in 1978 and 79, he started missing recording sessions and TV appearances due to substance abuse. By the early 80s, his addictions had escalated severely and were starting to define his public image. His fan base and record sales dwindled significantly as he canceled performances and lost work opportunities. His life was spiraling out of control with frequent binges and partying. While not working, he was often alone with his anxieties and drug use while pining for lost love and happiness. Reeling from his unraveling career, he checked into rehab for the first time in 1985. But once discharged, he failed to maintain his sobriety. Deeply damaged by years of substance abuse and now cut off from a support system, Andy remained unwell and hopeless about rebuilding his life and music. He declared bankruptcy in 1987 with an alarming annual income under $10,000. attempts at recovery, and a comeback. Despite hitting professional and personal lows, Andy refused to relinquish his dreams of a comeback. With the support of his siblings, Andy sought further treatment for his addictions starting in 1987. He spent time in rehabilitation centers trying to finally gain sustained sobriety. His brother Barry played a pivotal role in boosting his spirit during this time. As one of the world's top songwriters at the time, Barry believed fervently in Andy's talents. He encouraged Andy that a fresh start was within reach if he prioritized his health. With great effort, Andy made progress mending relationships fractured by his past behaviors. Barry leveraged his industry pull to help Andy sign a new record deal in 1988. He brought Andy to London, where a contract was inked with Island Records. After years of seclusion, Andy was energized to record new material and return to the stage. Close friends noted a changed man who was smiling more and dreaming again of worldwide tours. He moved to the countryside home of his brother Robin, keen to maintain his recovery in a supportive environment. Island Records planned an aggressive campaign to reintroduce Andy to the music world. Press releases highlighted his commitment to sobriety and creative rebirth. Test recordings showed Andy's vocal talents remained intact. With his first album under new management imminent, he began giving interviews about making a fresh start. The world was poised to welcome back one of the great pop voices of the late 70s. Andy's final days. Just as Andy Gibb's comeback was gaining momentum, tragedy struck. In March, Andy fell ill at Robin's estate and experienced alarming chest pains. He was admitted to the local Oxford hospital for evaluation and treatment. His condition rapidly declined over subsequent days. On the evening of March 9th, Andy collapsed in his hospital room. Doctors and nurses scrambled to resuscitate him to no avail. After 15 minutes, he was stabilized but remained unconscious. The following morning, March 10th, he was pronounced dead at age 30. Upon completing the autopsy, coroners determined his official cause of death was myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart muscle commonly caused by viral infections. But his family suspected the underlying culprit was years of substance abuse steadily damaging his heart and overall health. Although clean for over a year leading up to his passing, Andy's organs showed the accumulated toll of decades of cocaine and a party lifestyle. His once perfectly sculpted physique had grown gaunt from related stresses as well. While the final infection was coincidental, experts agreed past cocaine binges deprived Andy's heart of needed self-care to withstand ordinary illnesses. Today, online fan communities dedicated to Andy's legacy keep interest alive for new generations. A self-titled bio-musical chronicling his life even premiered in 2021. In the decade since his passing, Andy Gibb has solidified his place in the annals of music as one of the most naturally gifted performers of his era. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite song of Andy Gibb's? Let us know in the comments section below.